wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Good morning once again, and welcome back to our program, Policing with You. Let's say good morning to Superintendent Francis. It's good to see you back in the hosting position. Lately, you've been the guest.
Pleasant good morning, sir.
And I know that he's no stranger to the studio here for us here at LIZ, and to a number of programs as of lately. Superintendent Cromwell Henry. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, GQ, and good morning to you. Yes.
Yes.
The listeners. Sorry.
Yes. Yes. Totally understood. Gentlemen, what's on your agenda for this morning before we open the lines to hear from our listeners and our viewers?
Okay, good morning, GQ. Good morning to everyone out there in the listening audience, both internet, YouTube, all over the world. Welcome to another program of Policing with You. In the studio with me is Superintendent Henry, and we are going to talk about the SRNOs and different things that the general public need to know at this present time.
Okay.
Yes?
All right.
So, we jump straight into it?
Sure.
Okay, the general public seem to have been eagerly anticipating this new SRNO this time around. Do you know why that was, and can you explain what's the difference between this one and the previous one?
Well, I think persons were hoping that there would be no curfew. They were anticipating that the curfew would be lifted completely, because we had said that there would be a constant easing of the restrictions, and it started with the curfew at I think it was 8 o'clock, and then it went to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and so persons were hoping that it would go to no o'clock.
No o'clock, back to normal.
Right. But that was not the case, so I think some persons were a bit disappointed there. But as I said, as we always have said, that the easing of restrictions would be dependent on the situation on the ground. And we know we are still having new cases every day. If we see the statistics that are published, we have an average 5 new cases every day. On average, some days there are 6, some days there are none, some days there are 4, some days there are 7. So on average, we get about 5 cases daily. We have about 50 or 49 from yesterday's published statistics. We have 49 active cases, and so we cannot ignore those statistics. And so those are the conditions that we look at in coming to decisions whether to lift or to impose curfew. And we know curfews are important because the night curfew, it reduces or it limits the opportunities that persons would have to engage in non-essential social activities where there is little to no compliance with the protocols. You know, in the bars and parties, persons do not wear masks, persons in each other's face, and so there is much less compliance in the night social activities. And so if we're able to reduce those, we'll be able to reduce the spread of the virus.
Is there any difference between this particular SRNO and the one before?
Well, there is one minor difference in that prior regulations require persons who are quarantined at their residence to have private security. They would be required to pay for private security at their residence to ensure compliance with the quarantine conditions. This time around, the private security is not a requirement. So you can have your quarantine time spent at your residence once it is approved by the COVID-19 task force, but there is no requirement to have private security. We trust your own integrity to comply with the conditions that you will be sent, and so we rely on people's honor. And so there is no need for paid private security for persons who are allowed to quarantine at their residence. And that's the only difference between this current regulation and the previous ones.
Okay. And when do these regulations expire?
Well, they would expire on the 23rd of August.
And you indicated that the sites have to be approved. You could explain how the approval process goes?
Yes, and that's a good question, Superintendent, because the home quarantine is not automatic. You have to apply to be considered. And so the process is that you would go to the COVID-19 website. It's covid19.gov.kn. You go to the pre-approved home quarantine link, and there's a form, there's an application form that you are required to complete. Complete that form online and submit it. Submit it online, there's a submit button, and you will get a response. They will set up an appointment to have an inspection done. So a team from the compliance task force, the compliance team, would come to the residence and conduct an inspection. What they're mainly looking for is to ensure that the persons who are in quarantine can safely quarantine there without having contact with other persons who may be living at the residence. So that if you have a 3-bedroom house, for example, and all the rooms are currently occupied, the children and the parents in one room and the children in the other 2 rooms, but you have an uncle coming from New York and he wants to stay at that residence. Now, if he cannot have a separate existence in that house, like maybe a separate apartment, if he's going to be shacking up in one of the rooms with one of the child, or the parents going to move out the room and go into the children's room and he use that room, then the risk will be too high. And so that would not be allowed. So if there are other persons living in the residence and persons are coming into quarantine in that same residence with the persons who are already living there, then that risk is too high, and so that will be given less favorable consideration, as opposed to you living with your family. You and your family left for vacation. The house is empty when you're out. You come back and you want to.
And the entire family come back.
The entire family comes back and want to quarantine at home. Now that is entirely possible, because there is no one else who is not in quarantine in the house. So what we are looking for is whether or not there are other persons in the house who are not exposed, who are not required to be in quarantine, and so that there is no mixing between the quarantine persons who are in quarantine and the persons who are not, because that would defeat the purpose. If I'm in quarantine and I'm living with you and you're not in quarantine, and you leave to go to work every morning,
That's true.
then whatever you get from me, you take it to work. And so we want to avoid that type of cross-contamination between persons who are in quarantine and persons who are not, because there is a risk that that person who is not in quarantine could bring out whatever he picks up in the home and take it out.
I think that's understood. We have had a number of quarantine breaches to date, but we have also had a number of persons arrested and charged for several offences underneath the breach of the SR101. Can you enlighten the general public as to the penalties?
Well, it's important to note that while we are allowing persons to quarantine at home without security, we are trusting that you would honor the conditions. The law provides for serious penalties.
Significant penalties. Shop and come back and all that good thing.
Right. You one of the conditions is that you're not to leave the home within that quarantine period. You're not to allow anyone to visit you at the home within that quarantine period. So if you breach any of those conditions, then the law provides for stiff penalty up to $5,500 and 6 months in prison or both. And we've had a number of persons who were charged for breaching their quarantine conditions, and these cases were highly publicized. The last one were the couple who left their quarantine in Nevis and came down and went to a house in Frigate Bay. They were arrested, they were taken back to Nevis, and they were tried, and they were charged $500 US each. That was a small fine. The previous ones, we had the first one at the Parker who left the hotel. He was charged $5,000. So we've had a number of cases. There was another one who went to a hotel to kiss a boyfriend.
Yes, I remember that.
Well, out to defense. She was charged $5,000 as well. So we've had a number of persons who were arrested and charged for breaching the quarantine conditions. And so those persons who are given the opportunity to quarantine at their residence without any security. Do not take the chance to leave the house because nobody is watching. We have a record of all the persons who are in home quarantine. We know where they are, and so there'll be monitoring of these persons. And so if these persons are seen outside the quarantine area, then they stand the risk of being arrested, being prosecuted, and face substantial fines.
Okay, and to follow on a little bit more on the point of home quarantine, I don't recall if it was mentioned here, but persons who are vaccinated, with reference to home quarantine, and non-vaccinated.
Right.
I think there's a benefit there.
Yes, so not an important question too. Now, persons who are fully vaccinated, they would be only required to quarantine for 4 days. They'll be tested on the 4th day. If their test is negative, the result usually come back the same day. If they're tested negative, then they're released from their quarantine. So persons who are fully vaccinated, they're only required to be in quarantine for 4 days. And if they have a negative test at the end of 4 days, they are discharged. Now, if you are not vaccinated, the home quarantine privilege is not available.
Not applicable to non-vaccinated.
Not available to non-vaccinated persons. So those persons who are not vaccinated, they are required to spend a 14 days quarantine at an approved quarantine site. That would be one of the approved hotels. So if you're not vaccinated, you would have to, your quarantine period will be 14 days, and home is not an option. You'd have to go to a hotel. We know children are presently not vaccinated, and so if you are under 18 and you're traveling with an adult, then whatever condition that adult gets, it would apply to the child.
The 4 days or the 14 days?
By the 4 days or 14 days. So if the parent gets 14 days, the child gets 14 days. If the parent gets 4 days, the child gets 4 days. So whatever condition the parents get, the child gets the same condition.
Okay, GQ, let's have one more question before we break for halftime. It seems as though some people became so comfortable they forgot about the curfew.
Yes.
Maybe we need to remind them that the curfew is still in place and the purpose for the curfew still serves. Can you elaborate on this particular area?
Yes, some persons have, I don't know, they become so complacent they feel that the curfew is not necessary, or they forget about the curfew. We want to remind that the curfew still has the same purpose that it had when we were at our crisis levels. We want persons to be at their residence, to be not engaging in activities that increase the risk. And the only persons who are permitted to be out after the curfew hours are persons who are deemed essential workers, and they have to be at work. And these essential workers, we know, police, customs, defense force, fire, nurses, doctors, persons involved in the medical services, the hotel workers for approved quarantine sites. These persons are considered essential workers, and they are permitted to be out during the curfew period once they are going to or from work. So you're not permitted to be out to do other things because you're an essential worker, only if you're going to or from duty. And so we ask that persons really respect those. Other persons who are permitted to be out are persons who are granted specific permission. If you are not in one of the essential workers category, then you could apply to the Commissioner of Police for exemption. You state why you need to be out, and if this commissioner sees fit, then you'll be granted an exemption to be out. You'll be issued the necessary pass to present to the police, and you could be out after curfew once the commissioner approves your being out.
Okay.
So the curfew begins at 11:01 p.m. and persons should be off the street, should be at their residence at that time. We've seen a lot of cases where establishments, in particular bars, they seem like they want to close at 11. Now, it is impossible for the bar to close at 11 and the persons in the bar reach home at 11, unless the house is attached to the bar and everybody in the bar lives in the house. And that is not the case. Your establishment should be closed at a reasonable time. We recommend at least 1 hour before the curfew time. So by 10 o'clock, your bar should be closed and persons begin asked to leave, so that you have enough time to get home safely. we've seen an increase in number of accidents at nights between 10 and 11, where persons are rushing to get home, most times between 10:30 and 11. We had an accident in Frigate Bay Garden night at 11:15. Where there are significant damages to the vehicles that were involved. That suggests that those vehicles were rushing
to get home in time.
to get home before 11. And that is what we are speaking about. We want to avoid these accidents. Persons tend to be thinking, well, I got to get home before 11 because I don't want the police stop me. And so they take their minds off what happened on the road ahead of them. And the person in front of you stop and you don't realize. Or you're in a stop sign and you don't realize that there's a vehicle approaching on the main road because you're thinking about getting home. If you leave where you are on time, you'll be able to drive at a reasonable speed and not thinking about being caught on the road after 11. So get home, leave whatever you're doing in sufficient time so that you could get home without having to rush and worried about being caught by the police. The police are out and dealing with persons who are in breach. We have arrested over 85 persons so far who were found in breach of the curfew. Some were charged, some would have given excuses or reasons, and the police would just accept it, but give them a warning. But those persons who were arrested, they at least would have spent the night in custody. And this is not something that we really want to do, and so we encourage persons to avoid getting in conflict with the police where they have to make arrests for breaching the curfew. Leave what you're doing in sufficient time to get home, to avoid accidents, and to ensure that you're home before 11 p.m. Not leave last year at 11 p.m. and expect to be in Sandy Point at 11:01 when the curfew starts.
Okay, thank you very much. DQ, can we break for our
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And this morning,
from our sponsors?
sure. And this morning program is coming to your compliments, National Bank. We'll be back right after this.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here. At Nature's Discount, the herbal store on 4th Street, we provide herbal supplements for all your needs. Blood sugar, blood pressure, prostate, liver, heart, kidney, and more. Oils, pure herbal teas, wholesome vitamins, healthy foods, alkaline water, bodybuilding supplements, weight loss and sexual health supplements, even hair and body care products. We support the natural health of the whole family. Get healthy naturally. Call us at 662-5447. Like us on Facebook, Nature's Discount Nutrition Center. Your get healthy, feel wealthy people.
Hold on, stop. Think about the drink before you take a drop. Read up on the label on the back. They say sign sugar low and fat, but don't be fooled by that. Drink some water, share some love. Tell your body you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell somebody you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell your body you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell somebody, hey.
This message is brought to you by Lake Health and Wellbeing.
All right, welcome back to our program. In the studio with me, I have Superintendent Francis and Superintendent Cromwell Henry. We going to go straight to the phone lines, or you have some more questions
Yes,
before?
I always have questions, but once we have callers, we'll give way to them.
All right, so let's go straight to the phone line and
Yes.
take this call.
So-
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hold on there, my brother. Be careful, sir. Be sure we don't want that to drop,
Okay.
You're good to go. Okay. All right, so you can go ahead.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, Culture.
Morning, sir.
Okay, now with respect to the topic of the program, policing with you. And I like that because I think the line, just like how we open the line for us to report anything OPC out there that needs the police attention. We should have access to that. Some people just come on the line and digress from the topic. I wouldn't go into detail because everybody who listens, they know what's going on. Last week, there was an ignorant driver who broke the law, parked his vehicle, jam up on the door of an impaired individual, and the individual can get out the place. So all night in the lock up, in the morning they still can't get out. They in the cussing all kind of indecent language to get out the place. And I trying to call to tell the police them what was going on, and up to now, I didn't get into the police them. So I'm saying this, please, even though you all might be deep down in another conversation, just let the operator know that any phone call we will take it, you all will take it and address it and get back to whatever it is. Policing with you, we are here looking out for the police to help them because they are there, they don't have to go. But because they have a job to see that the security of the country is administered to, that's why we are working with you all and you all are working with us.
Excuse me, Culture, you're saying that you were not able to get an answer, a response when you called?
That's right.
Nobody answered the phone?
No.
Okay, well, that is unusual, but I know we had some difficulty with our phone system last week, a couple of days. So we had some phone issues where you may be hearing the phone ringing, but it's not connecting at the switchboard. So that I'll put that down to a phone issue because
yes, it is.
Our operators usually answer the phone the first ring.
But what I'm saying, the individual digress from policing with you to what you call feeding people.
Okay.
And that should not have been on the program. That is not policing with you. Anyway, I ain't gonna bash her, because I know GQ does a good job. I could shut me and turn me back and talk with GQ. So it's not GQ and answering the telephone call. Jonathan Station, good morning. Anyway, GQ, you all have a good day. Thanks.
Yes, man. Blessed love, my brother. Blessed love.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
We
much.
gone, man. Then I say,
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
They're going to get it soon, man. They're going to get it soon. Good morning. You're live and lively.
Good morning. This is Junior. Senior just left. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you all use the opportunity to clear the air and put some clarity, especially to the home quarantine, so persons can understand what it involves.
Right.
Because it's very important, because maybe some people are a little confused, but at least you were able to explain. And I just pray and hope that these persons who are given the opportunity do not mess up the opportunity.
Right.
I remember when the COVID-19 had just started, and you all had give person the opportunity to stay home. Person just went and do as they like.
Exactly.
And created a serious problem for the genuine, because you have genuine people who, and it's going to save you some money if you have the housing that could host the quarantine. But some persons just like to take advantage and make it worse for persons who genuinely want to. So I'm glad that at least persons have the opportunity to come home once they have the house and they can quarantine their house, just stay for the 3 or 4 days and save some money at the same time and give others opportunity to do the same thing if you are in the position. In relation to, you spoke about, I'm trying to get my thought. Okay, then in relation to the quarantine, the curfew. I am of the opinion it doesn't matter what time the curfew is, person just going to break the law. It's either they have money or they just feel like they have to. Because it was at 8 o'clock, then it went to 11. And if you put it to 2, 3, some person just feel like they're supposed to go to these places and leave after and then find all kind of excuse. The bottom line is that you know the time. It's not like it's just thrown on you. So just leave before so you can reach. Because it don't make no sense you're going to leave Bastille quarter to 11, 2 weeks on a point for 11. That is impossible.
Right.
That means you're going to be
break all the laws.
Exactly. And you're putting your life at risk, and you can kill somebody, your own family.
Other people at risk.
And it's dangerous. That's dangerous, and especially now that the road is in this kind of condition. So I just ask person, please, if you're going to and you know the time, please leave early so you can get home, and the last day you should be in the confine of your premises, not in Sunny Point and say you're from Sunny Point. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
You have to be in your yard space.
Right. Right.
So just, gentlemen, as usual, you all, especially Superintendent Henry, I think you should have gone into teaching instead of policing. But you're doing a remarkable job.
I could teach as a police too.
Well, of course.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I said.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, but you know your clarity, the way you explain things. But I'm glad that you all use the opportunity to allow person to know what it entails for the self-quarantine at home, so people don't get confused.
Right.
And one thing I would like you to explain, why there this discrepancy, because some person are wondering how come some person are charged 5,000 and some person are charged 500. Maybe you can explain. I don't know if there are circumstances when you go to the court.
Right.
Maybe you can use the opportunity to explain. But as usual, gentlemen, thank you very much. You all have a good day.
You too, man.
But
You
the
too.
explanation is simple. The 5,000 is a maximum fine that the court could charge, and so the magistrate has a discretion based on the circumstances, based on whatever is presented to her, him or her, to charge anything within that range from 0 to 5,000.
Right.
So it's a range, and the magistrate determine what is appropriate given the circumstances. So each case is different.
That's true.
And so the magistrate will make a determination based on the circumstances of the case.
Okay. Let's go back to the phone line. Let's take this call. Line 3, you're live. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, GQ.
Yes, man. Morning.
And good morning, Mr. Henry.
Good morning, sir.
Inspector Henry. 2 weeks ago, I called in to this said program. Inspector Edwards was one of the persons on the program. I mentioned to him certain things that happened. He turned to me, he told me, he took my name and my number and he should have passed it on to you. The matter pertaining me being pepper sprayed accidentally by an island constable down by the supermarket by 7th Church. The person who is responsible for causing this whole thing was refusing to put on his mask. Then the island constable was calling people from behind of him to go in the supermarket.
Okay, Carl, could I ask you, did you make a report to the police of this incident?
Yes, but then listen to what I'm saying, since the 1st of July.
Yeah, I know, I want to help you. I'm trying to help you here. Has anyone contacted you in relation to it?
No, in a sense, no, because my eyes got damaged and nobody at all paid me no attention.
Okay.
I had to, I was,
okay.
I was ordered to get glasses and medication for my eyes.
Right.
I went back in contact with the police, and even the chief of police also. He texted me and tell me, sorry, I can't talk to you now. I spoke to Mr. Inspector Edwards not last week, the week before. He asked me my name Kashrai Tweed. He asked me my number. My number is 668-2555. And until he was to pass my number and name on to you, and then you was in turn was to call me. But then it seems as though it's either he give you or he did not give you my name and my number. So I'm glad this morning I gave you the opportunity to speak to you personally. So then, if you want me to give you my name now and number, no problem.
Give me your
call
number.
me after
Give
the
me your
program,
number again.
no problem.
Give me your number again.
668
Yeah.
2555.
Okay, I'm going to have an investigator.
Koshroi.
Right. I'm going to have. We have a professional standard department that investigates these type of incidences. I'm going to forward your details to the
investigator.
Listen, I hear you.
I would glad if something been done speedily.
I hear you. I'm going to have the investigator give you a call today. I'm going to ensure that he calls you today. If he doesn't call you today, give me a call tomorrow.
Give who, you?
Yes. If he doesn't, if no one calls you today about this, call me tomorrow.
I don't know. I do not have your number. I don't know if you want to call me off here. You have my number. If you want to call me off here, it's up to you.
Okay, I'll call you off here, give him a number, and then someone will contact you today, an investigator will contact you today, and then we'll take it from there.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Respect.
No problem.
All right, let's go back to the phone line. Line 2, you are live, and good morning to you.
Yes, good morning to everybody here on the program.
Pleasant good morning.
Mr. Henry, I have a question which, seeking some information for my brother in St. Thomas. you know, he's fully vaxxed. And he want to know if he want to come up, right? And he want to know if he can quarantine at his home. His home only has one bathroom facility, right, at the moment. So, and he has his wife and his daughter living there. He want to know if he can quarantine with them, you know, and if that is so, how would it be done, or how could it be done?
Okay, as I explained earlier, the person would have to make an application online at covid19.gov.kn. That's the website. Go to the pre-approved home quarantine form, complete that form and submit it, and someone would come to the residence to do an inspection, and then you would get a response whether or not the home is approved for home quarantine. But given what you just explained and what I explained earlier, one of the things that they're looking for during the inspection is whether or not there's anyone else living at the home who will not be in quarantine, and whether or not the person who's in quarantine.
One of the person there is fully vaccinated, and the other one has just had their first dose.
Right. Well, what I'm saying, we would not want to have a situation where persons who are in quarantine is mixing or coexisting with persons who are not in quarantine, because those persons who are not in quarantine would be leaving the home to go and mix with other people in the community. And so we would not want to have a situation where the person might turn positive, who is in quarantine might turn positive, and the person who is living there gets infected, and that person has access to the community. So we want to avoid such a situation. So we prefer to have a situation where the person who is in quarantine is not mixing with the persons who are not. So if there are other persons living in the home and there is not enough space in the home to have a separation, then that such an application would be given less favorable consideration. So you say there's one bathroom in the house and the other people living in the house. It means that everybody will be using the same bathroom, and that is not a good situation.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. All right. Let's go to line 1. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, Mr. Liebert. How are you today?
I'm doing okay.
And the superintendent in the company of yours.
Good morning, sir.
I heard Superintendent Henry said something, and it raises eyebrows. As a taxi and toll operator, someone who functions primarily at the airport, taking people who are coming from at least places where they are spiked in terms of having COVID, etc., and the variants now. For quarantine in your own home, I didn't laugh. Don't know one would have heard me. I'm home doing some cooking, and I need to speak to him about something that I've experienced, because we are the ones who are the eyes of the task force and the COVID standard and protocol that they may not see, who may be at some stationary areas. We travel with them, take them to the various, residents, and we've seen things that we need to talk about it. And I am willing and more than, whatever effort it is, to speak to him about things that I see. I believe we are the eyes of the protection and cared for well-being of our health in things and our citizens, and I intend to, but I won't speak of it in the air, because it may make some people look bad. It may sound rather different on the other hand, but I will prefer to speak to him. He's someone I can speak to. He's a good person. Making no statement that is not true. I'm saying something that I have experienced. He's a good man, and I do have a lot of respect for him. He does a good job. One does good things that not going to be liked by others, and some going to be liked. But he's a good guy, and I prefer to speak to him about something that I see, and he can not just experience it from others saying it, but can prove it for myself.
Okay,
so I'll give him a call sometime today.
Yes.
And see how it's best for him to deal with what I have seen.
Sure.
Thank you, gentlemen, for listening. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Same to you, man.
And we encourage that, because we cannot see everything, so we have to rely on the eyes and ears of the other persons in the community, in the public, to assist us. Because whatever goes wrong is going to affect all of us. If there is an outbreak because of something might be happening that might result in an outbreak, the whole country going to be affected by it. So we would want that persons who see things happening that doesn't look too right, that they think should not be happening, speak to someone about it so that we could have it corrected before it gets too late and affect all of us in a bad way.
All right, now before we go to the phone line, I know you have a number of questions
Yes,
still. Do you want to engage those questions before we continue with the phone calls?
Yes, it's important. Let me clear these last two questions and then we can finish off with a few calls.
Okay.
Yes, Superintendent, can you share with us regarding the Caribbean, the CPL, upcoming CPL and security? Can you share any topics or
Yes.
concerns around that area?
Well, yes, thank you for that, Superintendent. The CPL this year is going to be played at Warner Park. We're accustomed to CPL, but it's going to be a bit different this year, different to what we have been accustomed to. We know we are in the pandemic, and so there are a number of protocols that has to be observed, and these protocols will not be dropped for CPL. And so what persons could expect? Well, the current regulations require that only vaccinated persons are permitted to attend sporting events. And that is in the current, has been in the current regulations from since the time they first came out. Well, a few iterations later. The only fully vaccinated persons will be permitted to enter the stadium during the CPL. And this is not so only for CPL. So I don't want people to think that this requirement is only for CPL. Any sporting event, competitive sporting event, only vaccinated persons are permitted. And only 50% of the capacity of the stadium is permitted to enter. So again, we see some protocols coming out here. This reduction in capacity is to ensure that the social distancing and physical distancing protocols could be maintained. You don't want to have a packed stadium and it is impossible for people to maintain any physical distance. So in order to have the physical distance that is required during the pandemic, the capacity permitted in the stadium is reduced to 50%. Further, all the other protocols, the masks, wearing of face masks, the sanitization, the contact tracing details that is required, those will be in effect. So you would find that at the entry point, we are accustomed to see persons crowding under the tent or crowding in the line to get in. The physical distancing would have to be maintained in the line, mask wearing. So person would be required to come to the games earlier in order to get in on time, because you would not be able to rush. You'd have to follow all the protocols. The person at the gate would have to do the security screening. They would have to take your contact tracing information.
Your temperature.
They would have to check your vaccination card. They would have to sanitize your hands before you enter. They'd have to take your temperature. So these additional steps, in addition to the security screening, searching to see if you have any restricted items, they would now also have to take your temperature, take your name, take your address, telephone number, sanitize your hands, and these things. So that would take additional time. We have systems in place to speed up the process still. We will not wait until you reach the entry point to start to do all these things. While you're waiting in line, there will be volunteers who will be coming around and taking your details, so that by the time you reach the security, you'd have already given your contact details, and it's just now to sanitize your hand and go in. So we would have systems in place to speed up the entry process. But we want persons to come bearing in mind that it will not be CPL as usual. You would have to ensure that you have your vaccination card to present to show that you're fully vaccinated. And you would have to also be prepared to give your contact details for the contact tracing and to be sanitized and to have your temperature checks and all those things. So that is what to expect. That is different. Once you get in the stadium, again, we don't want you to drop your guard and feel that, well, everybody here vaccinated, so I could do as I like. We still would expect you to keep on your mask if you don't have to take it off. And we expect you to try as much as possible to maintain your physical distance from the person next to you and not to have the type of crowding that we have in the past at previous games.
Thank you very much, Superintendent. And the last question, GQ, is at Wednesday's National Emergency Operation Center briefing, you went over some of the things considered when granting permission for an event. Can you go over those for us?
Yes. The current regulations places some restrictions on social activities. In fact, mass crowding, mass events are prohibited And so there are limited social events that are permitted. So the Commissioner of Police has to approve any social event where that has more than 24 persons in attendance. Now, some of the things that we look for when considering whether or not to grant permission is the number of cases in the community, number of COVID-19 cases, and I alluded to that earlier. We cannot ignore the fact that we have new cases every day. We cannot ignore the fact that we have 50 active cases in the Federation. And so we have to also give consideration to where this event would be and where these cases are concentrated. Because the risk to the attendees will be higher. And so we look at the number of cases that we have in the community. We also look at the setting for the event, the location of the event, whether it's an indoor event or an outdoor event. We know places that indoor events, the risk is higher, especially if there's poor ventilation. And so the setting for the event is also taken into consideration. The length of the event, that is also given consideration. The longer the event, the higher the risk, because if you're in contact with a person who is infected for a longer period, the longer you remain in contact with a person who is infected, the greater the chance of you being infected becomes. I think the studies show that if you stay more than 15 minutes next to somebody who is infected, close to somebody who is infected, your chances increase. So the longer the event, the more the chances of you being infected becomes if other persons they are infected. The number of persons at the event, again, the larger the event, again, the higher the risk. And so right now we are only allowing small size events. And so depending on the type of event also, because the behavior of the attendees is important. If you have an event where there is dancing and that sort of thing, a party type atmosphere, the risk is much more higher than if you have a ceremony where people are seated. So you could have a ceremony with 100 people and it is safe because they are seated, they're physically distanced because of the seating arrangement, and so such an event will be much safer than an event with 50 people in a party in a room, jumping and shouting and
sweating and
screaming and sweating and drinking. So an event with 100 people could be safer than an event with 50 people, just because of the type of event, the behavior of the attendees. So we look at that, the type of event and what the behavior of the attendees is likely to be, to determine whether or not we would allow. So 4 main things that we look at: the number of COVID cases in the community, the setting of the event, whether it's indoor or outdoor, the length of the event, the number of persons attending the event, and the behavior of the attendees, the type of event, the type of persons that will be attracted at this event.
Thank you very much. That was my last question. Any callers?
Oh, we have plenty callers, sir. We have plenty callers.
Yeah, let's take the callers now, Francis.
Well, we're going to do, though, gentlemen, I want to get a word in from our sponsors. It's 10 o'clock right now. So with your permission, I'm going to take a break. And then we'll be back and take some of these calls. Yes. Remember, this morning program is coming to your compliments National Bank, the proud and good people there at National Bank. Thank you guys for being a part of our programming here on ZLIZ Radio. We'll be back right after this. Don't touch that dial.
In long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
More and more cable customers are getting their cable internet package upgraded for free.
I paid 3 months and I got upgraded from Flash to Bolt, so now I'm actually paying less for more.
Yes, up to double speeds and savings of up to $200 per month just for using your card to pay your bill.
I had this Bolt package, then I got this platinum card and I paid my bill with that. They have upgraded me to Strike, which is almost double the speed now.
All it takes is a little loyalty. Use your Cable Platinum Loyalty MasterCard to pay 3 consecutive cable bills.
I was upgraded from Flash to the Bolt after paying my bill on time for 3 consecutive months, and I'm now enjoying the free upgrade.
To keep the upgrade, just continue using your Platinum Loyalty Card to pay your cable bills. Pay your bill in-store or online at www.thecable.net. Sign up for the Cable Platinum Loyalty Card today and get more. Terms and conditions apply.
It's Domino's $30 Large Pizza Special, happening every day at 5 p.m. until closing. Save yourself $8.50 and take advantage of this fantastic deal and get a large pizza for only $30. However, this promotion is only available for 3 flavors: barbecue chicken, cheese, and pepperoni. So what are you waiting for? Come on in and get your large pizza for $30 today.
Call Domino's.
Offer available for carryout only.
It's a Prime summertime with Digicel. We know you love Prime apps and content, so activate prepaid or postpaid Prime bundles or pay your Prime postpaid bill in full. Maybe Primetime TV and internet content are more your thing. Perfect! Sign up for the fastest internet speeds and best TV offers in Nevis. Here's your chance to be a Primetime winner. Win prizes every 2 weeks. Free phones, Echo Dots, MiFis, and of course, cash is up for grabs. You could be the crack prize winner of $1,000 cash, plus pick your best Prime buddy to win $500 cash as well. It's time to get Prime. Prime for summertime with Digicel. Digicel is better together. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I already have the permission from Superintendent Francis and Superintendent Kwame Henry to go to the phone line, so let's do so. All right, good morning, line 3. Okay, we lost you. All right, so let's go to line 1. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, GQ.
Hey, morning, Jamdang.
Good morning, the police force. Superintendent Henry.
Yes, sir.
I have a problem, because that lady who in charge of the forensic lab, what I call her again, Miss Rashini.
Miss Lake. Miss Lake.
Yeah.
The director.
Hello?
Yes, Director Lake Marshall.
Yeah, Miss Marshall.
Marshall, okay.
We at the Circus University Court of Conscience. We want to know why is it sharing a part of your setup coming to the public and telling us about the fantastic work she's doing over there.
She was on the show
she on the show
some
several times.
months earlier in the year we're hearing her again, and when you move around you hear she cracking things here and cracking things there. What's going on, Mr. Henry? We want all inclusion, we want everybody in this, because we got Spike coming up again, and the one in I do not like do it back there, So we would like to hear more about the woman. When the lady come and she speak concerning crime, the lady sound like she work with Hanley in the past. She's spot on, So please, I'll bring her to the fore.
Yes.
And let me show you something, Superintendent. On the west bus line and on the Monkey line, We got some young man smoking weed, driving people. I cut out them things. This is jam down here talking. People's life is important. Superintendent.
True.
You understand? You go all over here. They're gonna place to smoke. Go and smoke home. Why you want to do it on the job? And people is talking. People seeing it and talking afraid to talk. But not me, I born here. I mean, I know where to talk.
Well, what I think should happen, Jamda, what I think should happen more is that...
This is very serious.
Yes, but the people,
You are late.
rather than
In the
talking,
country.
people should refuse to
Have a
drive.
good day.
People should refuse to drive on those buses if they think the driver is smoking and it's going to be dangerous to them. Because if a driver is smoking and you're not comfortable with him, I don't think you should go in the bus and talk. You should refuse to ride with these persons who are engaging in these type of activities and you're not comfortable with it.
Let's go to the phone line. 9-3, you're live. Good morning.
Yes, hello.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning. I would like to I got a few questions I would like you to put up on the air.
Sure, go ahead, you're live.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, hi. You're just speaking to my husband. So my question is this. We're based in the U.S. My husband is in a wheelchair. We've checked all the accommodations for St. Kitts as far as the quarantine, and there's nothing that qualifies to accommodate him. So my question is this. Is there any way that we can quarantine at his place? He has a personal residence, which is a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1 kitchen.
And both of you traveling?
Yes.
And there's no one else living at the place currently?
No.
Well, sure, that's
And
no problem.
and you're fully vaccinated?
You're fully vaccinated, both of you?
Yes.
Okay, so just make the application and I don't see a difficulty.
So my question is this also. Why would I have to pay that security deposit for security to be there when there's no hotel to accommodate?
No, you know,
So
you
why
don't,
am I? Why are?
you don't have to pay
So
any
we will be able
security.
to pay that same fee?
No, you don't have to pay any security. If
No,
both of
they
you,
said that. I spoke to someone a few minutes ago on another line, and she said that we have to pay for 24-hour security if we're going to stay at the residence.
no, that person may
has
have been mistaken.
That has changed.
If you are staying at a residence that is approved for home quarantine, you do not have to pay for any security. As long as the residence is approved for you to quarantine there, it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you anything.
Okay, what's the webpage? What's the webpage?
COVID19.gov.kn.
KN?
Yes, COVID19.gov.kn. KN.
Okay,
as
thank
in
you.
St. Kitts Nevis.
Yep, thank you.
Kaitan, no? Ken, yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, man.
Okay, have a good one.
You too. All right, let's go to the phone line. Line 2, you are live, and good morning.
Good morning.
Hi,
Good
yes,
morning, ma'am.
morning.
Yes, I'm calling from St. Peter's. I have a problem with the corner by the bus stop. When the vehicle is coming from through the village, the speed around the corner, right? I see that there's a red bar there. But even though the red bar is there, it doesn't make any difference. I had 2 encounters right across there, one as recent as yesterday. The one before, I was standing in that area, and the vehicle fly around the corner, and I was there, so I said, but look at this. This is a red zone, not a yellow line. He said, well, we're supposed to go, right? Now, yesterday, the vehicle fly around there again. Other people see the incident, and he said, oh, me, I'm going to hit you. Now, what I think should happen, since this line is not doing anything, I believe some sort of concrete setting should be put there. Because people live in that area also, and they step out the gate and somebody going to lick them down.
Exactly what Monkey is speaking about.
By the, we used to call it the grandstand, where the buses, the people buses. Right?
That's coming from Little Monkey.
There's sort of triangle there, and it has yellow lines there, but it's not serving what I think it was intended to. Right? Somebody gonna get licked up there because people feel that they're going up the road. Mind you, they have lines marked out there and so on, and there's just the yellow line in this particular area, but they're not adhering to the rules. they're still flying around there. You know, so you stand in there or somebody step out the gate, they're going to get cleaned up. You know, you can't do anything after the fact. So what I think would be more beneficial to the people, right, saving their lives, because I see this here as life. I think some sort of concrete setting should be put there to
So
help.
rather than just the marking, there should be some concrete structure to prevent persons.
Right.
Okay.
Because they're going to clean up people right there twice in the space of a month. That is too much. Because it's a corner, you have to walk. You have to cross the road. You don't know what is happening there. They're flying around there like they're on a highway. And it's like they're coming to a place where they have to stop. And they're pulling in. So you have to put your hand up in the air because where are you going to go? And as I said, this person said, we're supposed to go. I think it needs to be looked at.
Yes.
Okay?
I'll
And as urgent as possible because it is serious. I was very frightened yesterday.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. I'll speak with the folks at Traffic and Public Works and see what engineering could be done to fix that.
Thank you very much.
Problem. All right. Thanks.
Okay, we don't have any calls at the moment, so I guess we're going to wrap up the program, Superintendent.
Yes, Superintendent Henry, any closing comments?
Well, as usual, I think that I've said a mouthful. I hope that persons would have really I was able to bring some clarity to some of the misunderstandings that persons may have had. I want to thank those persons who would have called in and who would have asked questions and made comments. And I just want to wish us all a very safe day. Remember to continue to observe all the protocols. Do not become complacent if you're not hearing or seeing anything happening. Things are still happening. The virus is still out there. Get vaccinated. I think we're supposed to get some Pfizer vaccines today. I saw an announcement.
I think we'll be bringing that service, that ceremony live
at 12 o'clock.
At 12:15.
12:15, right.
Yeah.
A shipment of Pfizer vaccines should be coming on island today. And so persons have been saying they want options. They don't want to just be given the AstraZeneca and told that they don't have any other option. So you would have the option, you would have the AstraZeneca, and you would have the Pfizer. And so we hope that persons will go out and get themselves protected by getting vaccinated. But in the meantime, wear your masks, maintain your physical distance, avoid crowded situations or crowded places, and always sanitize whenever you have contact with high-touch areas.
Okay, thank you very much, Superintendent Henry. Always willing and able to come on the program. Thanks for taking time out of the busy schedule that you have. GQ, thank you for having us. Thank the management and staff of ZAZ. I want to thank the callers who called in. I'm glad that Superintendent Henry came and was able to shed some light on the situation because I know a lot of persons want to come home, and it's nice to know that persons who have been fully vaccinated can now home quarantine for just 3 to 4 days, and then they back out to enjoy themselves. So I want to thank the callers for calling in. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Policing With You. See you again next week. God spare our lives. And GQ, see you when I see you.